Welcome to the Dawgs Table. Hosted by Craig Fountain and Jared Fatty Bates. Get access to special guests. Anyone can join the Dawgs Table. Find the link to join the show in the comments when we go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope, and everywhere on the BIGPLAY network. Here's your hosts, Craig Fountain and Jared Fatty Bates.
We are live after a shitty showing of a Pittsburgh Steelers game on Monday night. Welcome to the Dawgs Table. I am that fat guy, and always my host, my ginger brother, Craig Fountain. What's going on, bud?
Oh, man, you're not kidding. What a shitty game that was last night. That was terrible. Not a good experience. And the last time we saw Baker this year. So it's, we still got closure next week. We still got to get through next week, but we are going to have a lot to talk about. And especially with yesterday's game, there's a lot to unpack here, I think. I am going to bring in, I think for the first time, at least in a long time, second time. But I'm going to bring in my lovely wife, Nicole. How's it going, Nicole? She's not even paying attention.
She can't even hear us. What is she doing? This is a live show. Did you boot her out?
I didn't boot her out.
Yeah. Don't blame me for that.
Be in the doghouse.
No,
be in the doghouse.
Fatty did it. You weren't paying attention. Fatty did it.
She'll be back. I'm sure she'll be back. Tonight's going to be a little bit different. We, if you missed it, we went live last night.
Yes,
we did a pregame show. Absolutely.
Hey, she's back. Now can you hear us?
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah, well, we came in live and you're just staring off into space. And guess what? Bark another one up to the Dawgs Table. Either somebody's muted or just technical difficulties here on the Dawgs Table.
No, I don't think that was you. It was a really
there's
weird, slow.
Just nothing but technical difficulties. Here we go. Let's go.
Yeah, I did boot my wife that quickly. Chris, appreciate you joining the show. It happened. But yeah, so last night was kind of tough, and Barry was over to watch the game after his beer run. He did in fact come over.
What beer did he bring? Now was it Labatt Blues he brought over to the house?
Of course it was.
Okay.
We are brought to you by Labatt Blue, as well as Remax Edge Realty, the JC Group, and BIGPLAY. But yeah, so Barry, it didn't take long for Barry to pretty much get kicked out of the house, though. I sent him the link. We'll see if he joins us. He was pretty mad last night watching the game.
Oh, who wasn't mad? I didn't even watch the third quarter. I shut it off. This game's done.
So there's mad and frustrated, and then there's some people take it to another level.
Now,
And
hold on.
that's Barry.
Did he take off the leg and start swinging it and stuff?
No,
Then he wasn't that angry.
I almost did. I almost did. At
So-
one point, one of the far too many sacks for Baker, BJ said, "I hope he felt that one," and I was like,
Of course he did. He got sacked 14
Mm.
times.
"We're not friends today. We're not friends today. You might have to go."
Yeah, and 1 quarter through the game, Landon, who made an appearance on the show last night, he's also starting to talk about all the roster moves we need to make. He's already in draft and free agency mode. But
I didn't even know this happened today. Did Doug Deacon retire today?
yeah,
Did he?
yeah.
Yeah.
So this Sunday's
with the
game is
Browns.
going to be his last.
Of course it is. That would
Absolutely.
piss me off to retire too.
Now, just out of curiosity, when you watched the game,
Yes.
did you watch the regular broadcast or did you watch the Manning cast?
I actually flipped around to both of them.
Okay.
The only reason why, hold on. Now, we get fancy in my house. I got Spectrum here in the house, so I was able to watch the regular cast on the TV, the Manning cast on my phone, and I still had Doug and Jimmy in the background. So I had all three going, and I'll tell you what, I have never heard a national broadcast hate this game as much as all the national broadcasts did. Like, it was horrible. It was a Big Ben violin, just loving Pittsburgh going off, and Lewis Riddick going, what the hell are the Browns doing?
Yeah, and on the Manning cast, and I was actually glad that we remembered to switch it. After a while, we got kind of tired of the regular broadcasters talking, so Nicole switched it to the Manning cast, and I'm grateful because I mean it's nice to be able to have Peyton and Eli and getting some of the commentary, and of course they had their guests on and stuff like that, but they really didn't shit on Baker a whole lot. The whole thing is, why are we not running the ball? And that was the major takeaway from listening to some of these guys, including Aaron Rodgers. But let me tell you this too. For all of those of you, especially on Twitter, saying that Aaron Rodgers may consider Cleveland a destination, I guarantee you we're the last on his list.
Yep.
After watching those 9 sacks, sitting there with Peyton and Eli, 0% chance. That's not happening. There's not enough money in the world for that man. He's too old for that.
Yep. And,
So-
chalk that one up to your coach for not helping out a rookie tackle. But, hey, they chipped sometimes. Give them some awesome dip.
Right.
Somebody tried to tie his shoelaces together. They did a really great job of, taking care of freaking TJ Watt.
Yeah, everybody that wants to see somebody else new under center next year, this is not the audition you want your offensive line and system to give towards the end of the year. But I don't think that everybody's thinking that way. We touched on it yesterday. I don't really see a scenario in which Mayfield's not back. A lot would have.
Got him back for a year, but I said earlier, he's coming back with competition this year. It's not handing him the keys and letting him start right out of the gate. He's actually going to earn it now.
I don't know about competition. I think that you can, put somebody behind him that could compete. I don't think it'll be an open competition, but my takeaway on offense is 2 things really need to happen. And one of them really upsets me to talk about it. I don't think there's a spot for Juice here next year. I don't think there's a spot for Juice, and it's a little easier to talk about, but Hoop's got to go. Hoop's got to go.
Yeah, that experiment has failed because guess what? You have Njoku who has played as well as Hoop has, and after watching last night and I even said it today to Bri, it was right here. He went like this.
Yeah.
And it hit him in the hands and he dropped it right in front. There was nobody else around him, and he cannot catch the damn ball. I don't know what his problem is, but we brought him in for how much money and for how many years, and he can't catch the ball.
Yeah, and he was kind of, and I mean, it was a little bit of a gamble. I mean, let's be real. He had some good success in Atlanta. There's a reason why he was one of the premier tight ends on the market at the time, but it's easy to see why they replaced him with a guy like Hayden Hurst in Atlanta, and nothing really changed for them. But yeah, I don't see it. Stone hands Hooper. They've all got stone hands. I'm sorry, Hooper. And it sucks because the Hooper has come through and made some big plays. Even last night, there was a couple plays, but he needs to get his hands on the ball every time it's thrown to him, every time it's on target. Njoku's fine. Harrison Bryant's fine. Bryant's getting those touchdowns. Those tutties.
Hold on. At that point in time, I mean, Hooper's what, 27, 28?
I'm not sure. He's got to be in that ballpark, though. Yeah,
he's in that ballpark. And we drafted Njoku as the youngest tight end, and he's 21 maybe right now. So at that point in time, would you rather keep Hooper here at 28 going into 30, or would you rather re-sign Njoku at 21, who actually showed you promise this year? Yes, there was some other passes that Njoku dropped, but he actually did great. He's been our leading wide receiver. I mean, Njoku is our leading wide receiver. Let that soak in, people.
Another thing to consider too, and something that Baker alluded to in his press conference, which you see a shell of a man when you watch and listen to that. He's gone. He's not gone, but like he is defeated this year. This year he is defeated. He doesn't have anything left to play for. He gave every ounce, good or bad, of whatever he had. He gave it. And he is a fighter, but the batted passes, he alluded to, somebody asked him, they asked him very politely, which is a little bit unusual, but they said, hey, all these batted passes, how do you get around that? And he's like, well, I have to change my arm angle. That's why the balls are sometimes behind these guys. Everything's so timing specific. But that was frustrating for Nicole last night, was watching the batted passes. We know he's short. We know that he has had batted passes in the past, but last night, between the batted passes and the sacks, it was really hard to watch. What do you think about that, Nicole?
A lot. He was too afraid to get out of the pocket. And Baker can't throw a ball unless he's out of the pocket, because that's how he gets his visual of the field when he steps back. But they're so afraid of losing any more yards, they don't want him to move back at all. So he can't get out of the pocket. So he's stuck standing there, pitter-pattering, trying to see. And then you have TJ Watt, who's a beast, who's going to tip it every single time if you don't have someone on him. And how many times did you look at those tips where TJ was literally standing by himself?
Yeah.
It's like, you just gave the best defensive player in the league just freedom to run around the field to do whatever he wanted to do. I mean, I just didn't understand how there was yes, there was receivers not hitting their marks. They were off by 2 or 3 yards. So the balls that were getting to them were getting to their ankles. They weren't running their routes right. They weren't getting the balls that were being thrown to them. They couldn't get them the balls because Baker either couldn't see over TJ, or TJ was tipping it every time, or he was tackling him to the ground. The whole thing was insane.
But Nicole, you also got to factor in, it was a lot of decision making too, because Baker Mayfield had Njoku wide the hell open, and he decided to throw it man coverage to Donovan Peoples-Jones, who was only 5 yards further. It is a lot of stuff, but I wanted to bring this up to you, Craig, because we don't get to Twitter comments on here.
Yeah.
Because of how everything has done with our broadcast. But one of our friends, Ted Mack from West Virginia, said, sure, let's recap how Stefanski protected Chubb and the contract and put Baker in harm's way. He goes, that's the last thing I want to do today. Because if you sit there and look at it, Nick Chubb's our bell horse. Where was he at last night? Louis Riddick was calling for it last night. Chubb was a no-show. He ran it maybe, 10 to 15 times, and then that was it. The first half, I think he only ran it 3 or 4 times.
Well,
So,
4.
yeah, and he had the rib injury, but it does beg the question that was asked of Stefanski. His ribs, you can't. No, I believe Chubb was hurt.
no, because anything else that comes out on the sidelines comes out as soon as it's done. Brad, you can even, they can say, Brad Ward's here from All Eyes on Cleveland. What's going on, Brad?
Hey guys, how are we doing?
They sit there, if any injury, the regional guys get a hold of that before anybody else. Anybody in Cleveland,
Hi.
anybody in Cleveland would have had that news saying it was a rib injury. That's why he wasn't in there. That never came out the entire night. Never came out. Guess what? It's not an injury report. It's not any injury report. So how did he hurt his ribs? Tell me how he hurt his ribs.
Well, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like it happened on run 2 or 3. He came off the field clutching his chest, and at that point, I mean, how do you? There's no other way to know other than to take it at face value. Am I? What are we missing, Brad? Do you think he was hurt?
Yeah, I think he was dinged early, and then, I kind of feel pretty strongly about this that they just didn't want. Why run your investment at running back in a game that doesn't really matter into the ground? Like, I felt like. And Jake Burns made this point on our pregame show, and I was kind of like, hey, they're out of it now. We were bummed out on Sunday night, right? Should they just sit everybody? And he was like, well, they're prepared for the game all week, so it's too late to make wholesale changes, right? They've game planned all week for that. But one thing you can do is give your running back less touches, especially if he gets dinged in the ribs early in the game, because what's the point, right? And so I thought Louis Riddick sounded like a moron. That broadcast was awful. It was nauseating. The Pittsburgh love. Louis Riddick, who's a former Brown, just loves tearing the Browns to shreds. And it was infuriated. It was very, very hard to watch the whole game. And then, so I posted on Twitter, I'm like, I don't understand the outrage of not using Chubb. You're protecting him. That game did not matter at all. Like, don't let him sit on the sidelines. It did not matter. It did not matter.
Okay, perfect. Then why was Baker out there?
Because he has to prove something. He hasn't proved it. Nick Chubb has nothing to prove. Baker has a lot to prove, buddy.
I understand that, but at that point in time, what? What does he have to prove with 2 games left? We already seen the shit show that was 10 weeks. We already seen this offense being shambles.
So what are you protecting him for? What are you protecting him for then?
I don't know. Maybe because he's injured. He's still injured.
Because it's portraying to any other
screwed up shoulder, and he's still injured.
I honestly think they
other
wanted him
players
to.
that are potential players to come here, watching what the franchise is willing to do to any player on the field is going to make them turn around. I mean, it's all about where they're all supposed to be a team. So, like, I get protecting some players and having other players prove certain things. But, like everyone said, a player like Aaron Rodgers is never going to come to the Browns watching stuff like that.
No,
Brad, this very question
disagree.
was asked of Stefanski. This very question was asked of Stefanski, and it kind of stopped him in his tracks. It kind of stumped him a little bit. I don't think he knew how to answer it, and he's pretty well spoken. What did you think of his response? Did you catch that?
I didn't hear it. Go ahead. I read the transcript, so I don't know. I didn't listen to it. I read the transcript. So run that back for me.
Yeah, so essentially somebody said, hey, why was Chubb not more involved in the game? And he said exactly what we're talking about. Well, Chubb had a little bit of a rib injury, so we pulled him out. Yeah. Okay, well, if you're willing to sit Chubb because he's hurt, then why are you allowing Baker Mayfield to get 9 sacks or sack 9 times?
Because he has proven this year he is not your franchise quarterback. You don't know that. He has lots to prove. He supposedly, this is as healthy as he's felt all year, Fat. What do you mean? That's what he was saying the week coming in.
That's completely
He's been saying how healthy he feels. He's out there throwing ducks into the ground. He's throwing the ball all over the field.
For the Cincinnati game.
Are you going to let me finish?
Down scratch for the Cincinnati game. Let's get into it.
Because he has because
What?
now they have a week off and they
Okay.
can get their 2 ready and they can prepare their 2 and he can go get surgery early. I don't think they should have played him last night. I'm not saying that was a great decision, but I'm also not going to stick up for the guy that's been piss poor all year. I don't care if he's out there.
I'm not sticking up for him. What I'm saying
He's
at
not
that
even
point,
I don't look at him like a franchise quarterback anymore. Why are we so up in arms that Baker Mayfield was out there taking 9 sacks? Good. Hit him. He deserves it. He's been awful.
I get that, but at that point in time, why not Case Keenum? Because guess what? A backup is supposed to come in on those situations, no matter of game prep or anything else. They got to
Why are
prepare.
you so mad that he was out there? I don't get why everybody's so mad that Baker was out there. He has been a huge letdown. The reason the Browns are not in the playoffs is because of Baker Mayfield. Period. He has been unable to finish games. He has thrown
just Baker Mayfield, right? It's just Baker Mayfield.
a huge part of it.
hold on,
Not just, but he is a huge part of it. And I love Baker. I will ride with Baker. I wish he would do well. But guys, it's hard to disguise what we saw this year. Come on, this was awful, and it was the epitome of awful last night. And you know what? I think Stefanski and the front office wanted everybody to see just how bad it was last night.
So
But
that's
what
why
do
they
you-
went.
okay,
That's
hold-
why they
hold-
went 5 wide, and they pulled Nick Chubb out, saying, "This is what we got."
Hold on.
Try
Okay.
something different. It's a game that doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Try something different.
So I get everything that you're saying, Brad. And I actually don't really disagree with it. I mean, I get that. But there's a couple things to that though. Number one, I think they proved their point after sack 5. Right?
Yeah.
He's already beat up. He already has a torn labrum. Like, what's the point? Why are you beating a dead horse? Okay, then point number 2. Okay,
Pun
so
intended?
if the game's already done, and we know that we're not going to the playoffs, and we're losing, and it's a shit show, why wouldn't you put Keenum in there to get ready for next week if you know that you're putting him on for next week? Why would you still allow them to just tear the shit out of Baker? What's the
I
point?
don't really know, and maybe they should have pulled him. You may be right, Nicole. Maybe they should have pulled him when he started to get sacked and they knew he was beat up and stuff. But to be honest, I don't really care. I don't really care. I wanted to see what Baker had. I wanted to see him battle, do something, because he has not come up big in one situation he needed to come up big all year. So in a close game, here's one more shot to try to come up big, try to put the team on your back one more time. Here's your chance. I'm sure that he wanted to be out there. I'm sure he wasn't asking to come off the field. I'm sure he wanted to try to come back in that game. So let him give it a shot one more time, because he's failed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 last drives of the game to put the team in front and win games that would have put them in the playoffs. So if he's out there still trying to give it a go, their right tackle, I mean, Hudson looked pathetic. He was getting roasted on every single play. And granted, I will, Stefanski should have certainly helped. No help at all with those guys. No chips, no running back in. Don't understand that at all. Believe me, I'm not advocating the play calling or any of that. I'm just saying I don't really care that he was in the game, because I'm not really sure he's our franchise quarterback. So anything that he could have showed me last night, and he showed me that he was bad again, by the way. Not with any help. He didn't have a lot of help around him, right? But he also missed a lot of wide open throws. He threw an awful interception when there was a guy in front of him wide open. And that's just a basic read that a high school quarterback makes. Tight end open at 5 yards. Another guy covered at 10 yards. I throw to the guy that's covered at 10 yards, and it's an interception. What are we doing? How many balls did he get knocked down at the line of scrimmage? Come on, guys. What are we doing here? It was upsetting. It's upsetting, and I honestly think that Stefanski might have kind of wanted everybody to see how bad it was, how bad he was.
So right now there's a rift between quarterback and front office and coach. It's pretty much
between coach and quarterback. I don't think there's any question there's a rift there.
Then what happened last year? Why was it so good last year to get us to the playoffs, but this year
winning cures everything.
Well, yeah,
winning cures everything.
Obviously, we're not winning, but you're sitting there talking about the last 10 weeks where we didn't show up and we didn't run the ball. And I'm just doing devil's advocate on this.
What do you mean we didn't show up and we didn't run the ball?
I'm talking on the last 10 weeks we didn't because we're going 5 wide with Baker
We just
Mayfield.
ran the ball for like 230 yards against the Packers last week.
Okay, I get that. Week before.
What do you mean
How
we
many
didn't run
carries
the
did
ball?
Chubb have?
Huh?
Week before, how many rushes did Chubb have? The week before that, how many rushes did everybody? You're sitting. What I'm saying is you're sitting
What
there
are you
saying.
alluding to?
What I'm alluding to is the offensive play calling did not help out Baker one bit, especially when you're going 5 wide. There's nobody there to protect Baker at that point in time at all.
Yeah, sure. In last night's game and probably other parts of the season too. But here's what the problem was this year, guys. And this is, you got to break each game down on a game by game basis. You can't make these wild sweeping remarks about a whole season, right? But let's talk about a little bit about what happened. Is teams realized they could put 8+ guys in the box and dare the Browns to throw the ball, and they wouldn't be able to beat them. So every team did that. At some point, you got to stop running the ball into 8+ guys in the box and actually prove that you can throw the ball. So a lot of people want to blame Stefanski for coming out and trying to throw the ball when they should have run the ball more. But sometimes, guys, you have to throw first to open up the run. You have to throw to loosen up the run. I know it sounds backwards, but sometimes that's how it has to go. If they're loaded up with 8 in the box and they know you're running the ball, I mean, think about that 3rd and 3 in the game. What game was that? The Raiders game. They should have won, right? With Alex Van Pelt calling the plays. 3rd and 3. Everybody and their freaking uncle knew they were running the ball in that play, right? Where's the play action there? No, they even said after the game, loaded up, 9 in the box, everybody playing the run. They had to do something different. You have to throw to loosen up the run because everybody in the building is knowing that you're playing the run because that's what you do best, and Baker Mayfield can't beat you.
It is. It was a. What was our issue running the ball though, Brad? I mean, I know you're kind of getting into it a little bit, but the Steelers have one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. Is that just what's that?
Well, I mean, once again, yeah, they do, probably against the teams that can throw and run, right? But if they can load up and know that you're going to focus on the run game, they're going to stop it. When the Browns tried to run the ball, they pretty much stopped it. And it was mostly Dearness Johnson, and I had no problem with that. I didn't want to see Chubb out there on the field. Everybody's mad about that, but I didn't want to see him out there. I didn't want to see him get dinged. I didn't want to see him twist a knee or whatever. You've invested a lot of money in that guy. What's the point at that point?
I wonder why they brought him in towards the end of the game. Is it because they felt like the game was in reach that they decided to give him a few more carries?
I think so. When they got close again, right? When they got within a score, they scored a touchdown, and they brought him in at the end, or they scored the second touchdown. They brought him, or they didn't even get the ball back after that. So it was when they were within reach. But I think a lot of times too, they were playing catch up, so they had to throw the ball. And they went with Dearness that way, too, as well, because he's a better pass catcher out of the backfield, too.
Playing the Kareem Hunt role. I think a big problem with the offense is I think we underestimated the importance of having Kareem Hunt in there, along with Nick Chubb. I feel like we were winning when Kareem Hunt was involved, and he's a game changer. That's nothing against Nick Chubb or whatever. And Dearness Johnson did fill in very, very nicely for a few games there. He's no Kareem Hunt, though. He's not Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt brings a nice change of pace, and you can run, Nick, you can run some different stuff with him in the game, right? Like, you can run some more versatile, some more explosive plays with Kareem Hunt in the game because he's a better pass catcher. He's a multiple threat that way. Chubb's stiff arm was amazing. Two amazing stiff arms in that game. How about my boy? What's his name? His name is escaping me now. The Browns guy that got stiff armed.
Stewart? Was it Stewart or LeCount?
Yeah, MJ Stewart. Too short. Too short. Too slow. MJ got planted. That was ridiculous. So. Hey guys, it's not fun. This is not fun. And I don't want to argue with you, Fat. I just
No,
felt like last night was going in. I wasn't excited to watch it. I knew it wasn't going to be pretty, especially with the Roethlisberger narrative. Um, you know, I just have seen enough of this team, and I'm not defending Stefanski, but the best thing this team has going for it going forward is continuity. So don't break up Stefanski and all that stuff. Continuity for a third year is huge for this team who hasn't had it for 20 plus years, right? They were close this year in a lot of games. They're still a very good roster. I don't know. I think that Barry is going to be very aggressive to go try to get a quarterback, and I'll stop talking after this because I'm talking a lot. I know.
you're fine. Go ahead.
I think Barry's going to be very aggressive to go after a quarterback in the offseason, but I just don't think they'll see it through. I think ultimately they'll talk each other. The further we get away from this, they'll talk each other into another year of Baker healthy. And I don't think that's necessarily the answer, but I think that's what eventually they'll come to. Because what you're going to have to give up to get some of these guys, because as you mentioned, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to come sign with the Browns, right? Mm-hmm. So if you want to trade for Deshaun Watson, you're going to have to mortgage the future, and you can't really do that when you're building a roster the way the Browns are, right? You've already paid guys big contracts. You need those first-round picks because you got to complement the big contracts with guys on rookie deals, right? That's what keeps your roster whole and allows you to balance the scales. You throw a big quarterback contract in there and take a bunch of number ones and send them the other way, you're asking for trouble down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a lot of teams their window kind of get exposed. Seattle
slam shut.
Seattle, they paid Russell Wilson like $35 million last year. They can't afford to keep a good team around him. We've seen it with a ton of quarterbacks. It's one of the reasons why Tom Brady was never grossly overpaid in New England, because I think he understood that sort of balance. But I don't know. Man,
Jocelyn likes to see you mad, Fatty.
Oh, that's my sister. She loves to see me mad.
Fatty's not mad. I think he just likes arguing with you, Brad. I think he's having fun.
No, but the best thing is everybody has their own opinions, and everybody can see this shit show for the Brown season as it was. Like, I totally agree with Brad. Baker Mayfield did not help cause any this whole season. But also, I believe the coaching, we were the most penalized team all year with the coaches. You had guys line up offsides. How do you have guys lined up offsides? You had a guy throw a shoe. Like, this is what I'm talking. This is coaching shit. Like, it's not just person shit. It's coaching shit. How are you lining up offsides? How many times did we do that this year? It had to be like 8-9 times. Like, this is the stuff that I get pissed off about because I'm sitting there and everybody's holding Stefanski to this level, and I'm watching this going, okay, well, he's at that level. Why are we doing this stupid shit right now that is coaching? This is coaching.
No doubt penalties were a huge issue this year. No question.
We need that. We need to find that balance between Freddie Kitchens being a player's coach and Eric Mangini making guys run laps for false starts. We need to find somewhere in the middle there. But
hey, the comment about Colt McCoy, right? Like, I like Baker. I like him a lot. I want him to succeed so badly. Like, that is the best thing that could happen to this franchise, is for him to come back next year and be fantastic. But it's hard to imagine that after regressing so badly this year. I just don't know where to turn. Like, I'm at a loss. I'm at a bit of a loss, right?
I told Craig he's broke. He is broke right now, mentally and physically, because he is double, triple, quadruple clutching every throw. And as I told Nicole, he won't throw it.
I started saying it week 5 we started looking at all 22 stuff and saying, there's an open guy, there's an open guy, there's an open guy. He's clutching, he's pump faking, he's not throwing it. Odell, Donovan Peoples-Jones streaking open down the field. He's pump faking it, right? Like, it's in his head, it's in his shoulder, his mechanics. It's a mess, right? So maybe he can get healthy because it's not like we haven't seen it before. We saw it for 10 games. He was at top 5 NFL quarterback last year for 10 games. So we've seen it before. But the question is, can the damage that was done during this period be repaired between Stefanski, Baker?
Yes.
I hope.
He might have gotten Tim Couch or David Card last night. So
Yeah,
that's a lot of hits.
Honestly, it was like watching Justin Fields in there against the Browns with Myles Garrett just teeing off on him. That's what it felt like last night watching Baker Mayfield play football.
I wonder what the record is for sacks taken at a game. It can't be much more than 9, can it?
No, it's something in double digits. They were getting up there. I mean, Watt basically almost broke the record all by himself during that. You know, he was like, "Get me out on the field, man! I'm about to break Strahan's record right here tonight."
The Eagles had 14 sacks against the Giants on October 26th, 1952. Somebody must have had to watch some film because I don't even know if sacks were an official stat at that point. Yeah, that's a lot.
So it'll be interesting what happens with Russell Wilson because I do think that is somebody they could explore because they have an out in his contract this year. So I don't know if they're going to, trade him, if he's going to become a free agent, if they're going to part. I don't know how that's going to work. So it'll be interesting to pay attention to see how that works with how Seattle's going to handle that situation because I think he's played his last games there on Sunday. So I would like to see – that would be the guy that I would want the Browns to go after the most, in my opinion.
So next year, Russell Wilson's going to be 34. He's got a cap hit of $37 million with $26 million in dead cap for Seattle. Now, let's say they release him or something like that, and we can just chase him down and try to get him here in free agency. Would you rather have Russell Wilson at even at a discount, say $30 million, or would you take that over Baker at, 18 or 19 next year? I mean, that's a big difference.
Here's the thing. It is a big difference, but if it was Russell Wilson, I would try to move, if they could legitimately get him, I would try to move Baker Mayfield to make up for some of that draft capital because I think like the Saints would be interested. I think there would be a couple teams that think they could use him and fix him, right?
Well, I mean, they did go after a quarterback that had flashed but had injury concerns, and it worked out for them when they went and got Drew Brees. Right. I don't know. There's
Smaller
some FOMO
guy.
here because you never know. Yeah, smaller guy.
Fits the model down there, so plays inside, right? So I don't know. I think a couple teams would be interested. I think you could trade him, go after Russell Wilson, and then as far as the future goes, because he is 34, I think that you would also have to look at acquiring a younger guy that you want to at least has a chance to be something in the future. I don't think you would just hang on to Baker, obviously, at $18 million. You would have to move him, get off of him, and bring somebody in cheap like Trubisky or somebody like that to back up Wilson. But somebody that has maybe a little bit of promise. All of this is very unlikely, in my opinion. But that would be the best case scenario, I think. Because here's the problem: if you waste another year on this, if this goes to next year, and Baker can't do it healthy, right? So he gets another chance healthy, which I think is what they'll finally end on. And if they can kind of repair this rift and get on the same page, which is, they're all adults. It's not like they're pragmatic people, they all went to Ivy League schools in that front office. It's not like they're going to hold a grudge against him, right? So I think that they could all come together and run it back again. The problem is you're wasting a lot of really good players' prime years.
Yes.
And that's what concerns me, and that's what would be so enticing about Russell Wilson is you got Myles Garrett in his prime, you've got Nick Chubb in his prime, Kareem Hunt in his prime. Do you really want to waste these years with a quarterback that can't get you over the hump?
Well, in my official stance, and Ted, I noticed your comment here. These are all hypotheticals. I don't know if any of us at this point are wishing for things to happen yet. I would like to see Baker for another year. I would like to see him healthy. There's the quarterbacks that are going to be out and about and be able to run the ball. Lamar Jackson, they're not going to be able to handle some of the beating like Baker's been taking. So you need somebody that can get out and about. If you get somebody that's in the pocket and is a pure pocket passer, we really got to fix a lot of these problems anyways. There's durability concerns, I think, no matter who's back there. Not everybody can absorb like Ben Roethlisberger, but I like Baker's skill set, and I think that what he's flashed, if they can find some little bit of consistency with that, I think that it can be very good. And here's the other thing. If we're going to talk about hypotheticals, I don't know that there's a whole lot of guys out there that are worth bringing in right now. I think some of it is who's available. It's not the strongest draft class. There's not a ton of guys available. Deshaun Watson's problems, I mean, are they even going to be sorted out? And at that point, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see. And let's stop talking about Trubisky, for the love of God, please, on Twitter. Stop talking about Trubisky. Holy shit.
Come on, Craig.
Worst idea ever.
I said as a backup. As a backup. Come on.
Hey, that's not the worst idea ever. The worst idea ever was drafting Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? I've seen people say that Baker Mayfield is Johnny Manziel without substance abuse issues. I completely disagree with that. I think Baker's on another level. I'm sorry.
No, that's absurd. Craig, you're right. I think ultimately you're right, and that's kind of why I said that I don't think, we can talk about all these hypotheticals and stuff, but ultimately I don't think they see any of that through, and it's Baker again next year. And I think that you nailed it on the head when you said there's just going to be a lack of options. And they are probably at the end, as they get further away from the disappointment and stuff, are going to look inward and say, hey, mate, this is our best chance again. I think I think you're right. I think it was well said.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Fatty, any thoughts on hypotheticals while we're on it? Because, I mean, I'm sure we'll have all off season to speculate, but.
Well, I mean, the only hypothetical I got is the way that the NFL is going now, the way that college is going now. Quarterbacks are bred different. I mean, they start as a quarterback, and Craig is doing what I did, is potty break. Quarterbacks are different now than what they were back in the 80s, 90s, and everybody is trained different. So you're watching these quarterbacks come in straight out of college, being able to understand and, Herbert, Burrow, all those guys. Now, granted, those guys are elite, but you're also throwing in Dak Prescott, who was not a top round pick. You have other quarterbacks coming in, being able to understand what's going on. So the college game is a little bit different now. And if you get a top tier quarterback, and I'm not saying that they will, but I mean, if you get a quarterback that can understand, I mean, look at Mac Jones. Nobody really wanted Mac Jones number 1 overall. And he goes to the Patriots, and look how great he's doing at the Patriots with Bill Belichick, because he has the mind for it. I'm just saying, and you got to draft at least somebody. I don't care. It's not first round. I get it. I think they need more offensive help with wide receiver first round than anything else, because it's apparently clear we don't have anybody that can get open or somebody that he trusts. But at that point in time, I think we need a wide receiver, and then maybe third round, take a flyer on somebody. Get them in here and just see. Like, what is the point of having these draft picks if you're not going to pick a guy that you might not look at and go, should we actually take him or not? There's Redleg. What's going on, Redleg?
Is this the Browns meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
What's up,
No,
guys?
this is Alcoholics Anonymous.
My name's Craig, and I've been a Browns fan for 20 years. Yeah.
Hi, Craig.
I'm not sure what I missed here, but wide receivers. I see a comment about wide receiver class, so I'm assuming you were talking about that.
I was just talking about the way that, quarterbacks are bred now. They're not bred like they were, where everybody has to sit out a year if they want to start. They really don't have to because they're trained different now. They've been trained to be a quarterback.
Some of it has to do with job security for coaches.
Yeah, the elite ones can step right in. I mean, Mac Jones is in a very. I mean, they make it easy for him, right? The Patriots make it real simple for him.
Yes, I totally get that. But at that point in time, like my biggest thing is you get a quarterback, coach around him. I mean, look at the coaches of Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, who are young coaches who just coach around him. You coach the quarterback that you have, not the system that you have, right?
I don't even know if Zach Taylor's a good coach. I just know Joe Burrow is a freaking beast. That's what I know.
He's going to be a nightmare for us for a long time.
So here's what I will say, and I'll leave you guys with this tonight, as I don't want to hog all of your airtime here.
That's why you're here.
Hey, this defense is going to be ridiculously good next year. How good is Newsome last night, and how good was Grant Delpit last night? I mean, two young guys, they were fantastic. Newsome is like out of this world good. I mean, he was amazing last night, right? Third downs, climbing Claypool's back, getting up. I mean, he is a menace. He plays a mean corner, and he was feeling it last night, you could tell. Delpit was feeling it too, coming up in the pocket. He was hitting people, tackling. He played a really good game too. So a couple young guys, a lot of promise. That defense is loaded up with young, good athletes. They should be very good next year. So,
yes.
And really, guys, they've kept them in, at times, in my opinion, despite Joe Wood's poor play calling at times, that talent has kept them in these games. The only reason some of these games have been close is because the defense has been so good. When's the last time they gave up over 20 points, really? I mean, come on.
Did Joe Wood save his job these past 6-8 weeks?
You know what I mean.
I know. Oh, yeah, of course he saved his job because guess what? The entire time, at the beginning, after the Chargers game, I'm like, what's this guy doing? And now he's got a revolving door of secondary and linebackers coming in and defensive linemen that just show up. MJ Stewart's a quarterback, and he's playing safeties, and he's making plays. You had JOK out for how long? And other guys stepped up. Like, it on this defense, somebody else has stepped in to pick up the slack on the defense. We haven't had that on the offense.
Yeah.
This defense is actually legit right now, and I cautioned because it was like, it's going to take them a few games to gel together. And I'm like, maybe, yeah, whatever. They have gelled together as a defense to know that they are a legit defense. And if you're playing a Browns defense, this is what you're getting on a Browns defense, especially with Greg Newsome. Like you said, Delpit last night showed up. MJ Stewart made it. Great hits. JOK in the second round. Unreal what they picked out of linebacker there. Unreal.
On the topic of wide receivers, Fat, I agree. I think you should spend your first round pick on a wide receiver, and I think you should get one in free agency too. I actually really wanted Michael Gallup, but he tore his ACL on Sunday. So I would probably look elsewhere now, but Godwin, Allen Robinson, and some other good ones are going to be in this class. It's a good class, and it's a really good wide receiver draft class, deep draft class. So you should be able to get some good talent outside because that room needs bolstered big time.
And also, you need a guy that can separate. That's what you need. You got Jarvis Landry, who is a position wide receiver, who is a great route runner. And you have DPJ that's trying to do the separation. He's not there yet. He's still work in progress. Anthony Schwartz could be a burner all he wants to, but he's not going to do anything if he can't get off the line. Like it is. You need a legit number one wide receiver, and the NFL has shown you that because Chase coming to the Bengals. Look at that. Burrow trusts him. Throws it to him all the time if he's in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, you have them all. DK Metcalf. Would you DK Metcalf on this team? You think Baker would be throwing it up to him in a 50-50 shot? I mean, this is
know.
where we're at. No,
He wouldn't throw it to open receivers this year.
I mean, I get I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, we have never had the threat. And yes, OBJ is OBJ, but I still believe OBJ is just a name. That's me personally. I think it's just a name and a personality because yes, he can run, he can still catch balls, but guess what? What has he done in the last 6 years? That was like 2016.
5 touchdowns since he's been to LA, buddy.
What do you do? At that point in time, he's got Cooper Kupp on that.
He won the game for him on Sunday.
Nicole has something to say about
He won the game for him on Sunday.
Right now, the leading wide receiver is on his team, and he's not a number one wide receiver. Cooper Kupp is the number one wide receiver on his team.
He's not the same guy. I agree. I was just making a point that it's kind of an indictment on Baker or Stefanski, whoever your opinion is, that he goes to L.A. and scores 5 touchdowns.
I totally get it, but at that point in time, look at the wide receivers around him. That's my whole thing.
Listen. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is special. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be really good. So I think he is a part of the future of this room. I think he's a legit 2 in this league, and I like him a lot. I think he's going to be fantastic. He'll just get better every year. He has shown flashes this year, and he has been missed a lot when he has been open. So, let's see what happens, but the roster isn't the issue. They'll add, Andrew Berry is a smart man, and so is everybody else in that front office, right? They know what they're doing. They are not dumb. They're going to go get weapons outside. They know what they need to add. Continuity for the first time in a long time with the coaching staff and most of your roster that already knows the offense, already knows the defense. This AFC North, and remember this, I'll just say this to fans, and a lot of people get this confused. Momentum from one year to the other in the NFL is a fiction. That's fictional. That does not exist. You cannot carry momentum from one year to another, bad or good. Each year is its own entity, its own storylines, its own ins and outs and what have yous, right?
We just ran it back in the front office, on the coaching staff, and on offense. And It didn't matter.
It did not matter. And like, you remember the year Mangini won like the last 5 years? It didn't matter the next year, last 5 games of the season. It did not matter that next year. It's been proven that over time that each year is its own story. The Bengals this year benefited from being really healthy, and I'm not saying they aren't loaded because they are, but they also benefited from being really healthy, playing a 4th place schedule, and getting opportunity. They're gelling at the right time, but what Chase and those guys are going to do is make Barry and them and the Ravens and the Steelers, it's going to be an arms race. The offseason is going to be an arms race in the AFC North. The Browns are going to have to go get a weapon on the outside to keep up. And I have trust that Barry will make the right decision. So ultimately, I think they have a good roster. I'm not down on Stefanski. I think he'll be fine. I have questions about Baker, but that's to be continued. So I think they'll be back next year with a chance to be just as good. They should win double-digit games next year. So, keep hope alive. This window is still open. There's a lot of good football players, young good football players on this team. So I'll leave you with those thoughts.
All right, appreciate it. And Nicole, I'd like to get your thoughts, and then I want to get Redleg's thoughts. You've been over there silently waiting. I know you have something to say.
I'm sorry.
I can see it in your eyes.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just replaying different plays in my head of OBJ this weekend. He did pretty good, but he also got intercepted on and then punched the guy in the butt.
Yeah.
So,
right in the fart box. Punched him right in the fart box.
I mean,
Yeah, but
I love
Stafford threw
OBJ
that
just as
into
much as the
triple
next guy,
coverage.
but yes, he did.
Yeah, but you don't push
did.
people in the fart box unless they ask for it.
There's just
Oh, he didn't even get the fetish jokes I thought he would. Redleg, what were your thoughts after this game? Let's go to you. Let's get your thoughts.
God, the first one, literally, if you saw my Twitter, was, where's the O-line? And I just, to Baker's credit, he didn't throw Hudson under the bus. At his interview, he said, it's not just him. He's like, you got this Pro Bowl athlete going after him. He, nothing on him. He's a rookie. Give him some help. I get it. Frustration, 3 and outs, defense, woohoo, good. But my God, all the drop passes, Hooper, it's just a complete collapse of the entire system. And we watched it live, and everyone's like, "Oh, Baker." But if you have nearly negative seconds left to throw a pass, you're gonna have a guy in your backfield on nearly every play. Is that Baker's fault? No, it's not Baker's fault. It was that's the most disheartening game I've seen in a long time, and it just like sucked something out of you. You're like, oh, and that's just what it was. I mean, I think we have a strong foundation. I think it's not as bad as people want to think it is, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
What do we have to play for this week? I mean, it's been said that Baker's not playing. All right. I mean, do we send out the scrubs essentially and make sure nobody gets any injuries? I mean,
I think you want to see your young players. You play your LeCounts and your Peoples Jones, and I want to see Anthony Schwartz and Demetric Felton and Jacob Phillips, and he should start at middle linebacker. Like, you want to see those guys play, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Myles Garrett take the field this game. Period. Yeah. I don't want to see Chubb. Obviously, Baker's out. Yep. Denzel Ward. See ya. You've done enough this year. Greg Newsome, I want to see because he's a rookie. Yep. But like Brad said, those younger players, you got to play all of them, and even if guys are injured, like what's going on with Harrison? Isn't he in a contract? Like, is he injured or is he on COVID?
I don't know.
He was both at one point. I don't think he's going to be a Brown anymore after this year. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I don't think so either. But I mean, like Brad, those are the guys you're wanting to see right now because those are the guys for the future. Those are the guys that make the depth of the team. So yeah, that's what I want to see.
All right. So there's
you guys were talking about. Oh, I'm sorry, Greg.
No,
go
you're good.
ahead.
Go ahead. No,
I was
go ahead,
say I heard you guys when I was getting ready to come on talking about Njoku.
Yeah.
And Hooper. I think Njoku, I was looking at this before I came on because I wanted to have it, but PFF has, no, not PFF, Spot Track has, Spot Track has their estimated market value because you want to re-sign Njoku and you want to re-sign Ward. In my opinion, Njoku, 6.9 per year, 4 years, $28 million. Was their estimated market value, and they had Ward's estimated extension. Listen to this one: 5 years, $107 million, 21 per, 76 of it guaranteed.
Wow.
And you know what? I think you have to give it to him because there's only a half dozen corners in the league that you can leave alone on one side of the field like you can him. So,
do you think he might take a hometown discount because he's here?
No.
Okay, that's perfect.
You only get so many paydays in the NFL, and players around the league don't like it if you take a discount either because you're just taking away from their money.
Well,
I think it's kind of. Tom Brady might be the only one who actually took like a true hometown.
The only one, and that was kind of like,
How do you think he won 16 Super Bowls? That's how.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's a whole different.
Drew Bledsoe.
Come on. But all right. So this week we did not have a dog of the week, but I do want to bring up the City Dogs of Cleveland. And we've partnered with them throughout the season. We've done our dog of the week and also featured an adoptable dog every show. Just so you guys know, if you're interested in bringing a dog into the home, City Dogs of Cleveland can be reached here at City Dogs CLE on Twitter and at City Dogs Cleveland on Facebook, or at 216-664-3476. This was our most recent dog of the week. It's Coco. Not sure if Coco's still available, but might be. Wonderful dogs and wonderful organization. We've enjoyed our partnership with them, and they're awesome. So make sure you check them out if you're looking to bring a furry friend into the home. All right. So with that, we are going to close the show out. The last segment, Fatty's on fire. Are you ready, Fatty?
Oh God, no, because ours are on fire earlier.
Okay. All right. We're skipping Fatty's on fire.
I mean, Brad and I had a great bag. I'm good. Like, I already let it out. Like, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Have to go back and watch it.
Yeah,
you might want to.
please do.
It got heated. It got loud, and my family's so pissed off at me.
The
Ooh,
automatic volume leveling on StreamYard almost overheated.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So with that, we're going to close out the show. Red Leg, appreciate you coming on. Nicole was with us for the duration of the show for the first time.
We're not doing picks for the Cincinnati game. Come
You
on.
want to do picks?
Yes. Let's
I don't know what we're picking. All right. Go ahead, Fatty. You take the lead.
Cincinnati 41, Browns 17.
Oh, geez.
I don't even know if Cincinnati's playing their starters. I don't give a shit.
I
After
mean,
the last game against the Steelers, I'm done picking the Browns.
I'm going to operate under the assumption that Brandon Allen's playing, and I'm still going to take Cincinnati 38, Cleveland 9.
Wow, there's 9. All right.
Ooh.
I would rather see Nick Mullins than what's his name? Keenum. Yeah.
Keenum. Nick Mullins showed flashes in San Francisco. He played a decent game against Oakland. He certainly didn't do anything to lose us the game.
He basically almost won. He went legend for a minute there, and then we blew it.
I like Nick Mullins, especially
Me too.
I paid a lot of attention to him last year in San Francisco, and I think that he would be a great candidate to develop as a guy, just in
Future
case, and keep around as a backup. Yeah, absolutely. Nicole, what do you?
Did he just come off of reserve today?
Yes.
I believe so,
Yeah.
and Dearness Johnson went on to it, so
Yeah.
it'll be the Demetric Felton show maybe next week.
Yep.
All right, Nicole, prediction?
I don't want to.
Okay.
No. We made
Can't do it.
Evan Arnold, who will never make a prediction on this show. You're making a prediction.
He
Hey,
did. I saw
easy
it.
there,
I
guy.
can't do it.
You have to.
The Browns are gonna lose.
No.
Brad, your prediction.
Bengals 74. Browns 75.
Oh,
curveball.
surprising.
Curveball. Oh, man.
I
Red
thought
Leg, what do you
he-
think?
I thought he was going super fan on it.
I'll say, I gotta go. Let's do on the character. What the Cleveland Browns with 45, the Cincinnati Bengals 37, and the rest 55,000. Go Browns.
Go Browns.
Boy.
I don't know. It's gonna be close, man. You know what? No, I hate to say it. I think that Cincinnati's gonna win it. Give them 31-14, Cincy. I think that, we're going to backups, not playing Baker. We're still going to be suffering the plug and play even worse now because you got the back. It's going to be like a preseason game, I think. It's going to be a lot of guys in there who are, trying to show their value for next year and get signed. And more, I guess we're probably better for it. If nothing else, you can see a little bit more talent in different places. So,
Iron sharpens iron.
Would you rather win or lose this game, gentlemen? Because it can make a big difference in your draft pick.
Lose.
Okay. Brad, this is my biggest beef right here. No. My biggest beef is all these people will why not lose the last 2 games so you get a better draft pick. We have a great front office that has showed you that you can find draft picks throughout first, second, and third round. All right. And Craig, you can be pissed off all you want to. They've shown it.
Yeah, but what does winning this game do for you?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't matter.
If it doesn't matter than you, then why not lose and get a better draft pick?
And that's why.
Why not play the starters?
You guys are going to get.
Hold on.
Dude.
All right, you really want to do it now? You really want this now?
Yeah.
If you're going to play for the fucking draft picks, at that point in time, Baker Mayfield shouldn't have started that fucking game. Nick Chubb should have been on the IR, and Myles Garrett should have been back in fucking Toledo. Are you shitting me right now if you're playing for the draft picks? Shut your fucking face right now. We're past draft picks. We're Cleveland Browns fans. Let's go! Go!
Listen, nobody's saying that they should lose on purpose. I just asked you as a fan. Obviously, they're not going to lose on purpose, but what they do is they're going to play their young players, and if they lose, then they lose. As a fan, I just asked you if you would prefer they win or lose. Obviously, they're going to try to win the game. Nobody goes out there and tanks on purpose.
Right.
Yeah,
listen. Draft pick is important, Fatty.
Yeah, they're going to go out and try to win on purpose while they're
It can be the different.
Why their star running back is
right
sitting
now,
on the fucking bench. They're not going to try to win on purpose.
No, so you think they should run their starters out there?
Why the
you
fuck
think they should run Chubb out there?
No.
Why? Hold on. At that point in time, why is Baker sitting out now? Fucking run him out there. He's healthy. He said he's healthy. Run him out there. Let's go.
What are you talking about?
Listen,
I'm so confused.
Right, I think I read if the season ended today, we'd be picking 13th in the draft. I'm way more interested in a higher draft pick than a win.
Yeah.
Fatty, listen,
Perfect.
I love Greg
I'm so
Newsom.
glad that you're
It could be the difference between a Chase and a freaking Brian Edwards, man. It could be.
It's the difference between a Micah Parsons and a Greg Newsom. There's nothing wrong with Greg Newsom, but Micah Parsons is different.
No doubt.
I'm just saying.
No doubt.
He's about to fight.
Michael Parsons is about to win defensive, or he would have had a chance to defensive player of the year if the Browns wouldn't have let Watt get 17 sacks last night.
My gosh, yeah.
Parsons is going to finish second in defensive player of the year voting as a rookie.
All right. We got some good material for shooting out some replays this week, some video clips. Maybe we'll TikTok some of those.
I'm about to go.
Oh, TikTok. Oh,
I gotta go. I can't. Mother.
He's going to Antonio Brown.
Oh, come on, man. It's nothing. Oh. That's so upsetting.
He's coming back. All right. He just told Bruce Arians he wasn't coming back in the game. All right. So that is this week's The Dog Table. Thanks for joining. We'll be back next Tuesday to recap the Cincinnati Bengals game. Make sure you give us a follow on Twitter. Give us a like on Facebook. Share this video so everybody can join in on the conversation. Jocelyn, I think he's pretty upset now, but he just likes making an entrance and an exit. Whatever happens in the middle happens. But all right, appreciate you joining the show, Brad, Redleg, Nicole. We appreciate it. Until next time, go Browns.